Welcome to More with Gabby, where we're going to empower women and we're going to help you be the best version of yourself. That whether you are living in an area where you don't want to live anymore, whether you want to conquer your career or you want to be the best wife, the best daughter, this is a safe space for you. My name is Gabby Moore, and welcome to the Gabby Moore Show, where you always get more, even a double O and more. Today, I want to talk to you about Nora. Nora is a girl that could either be a pharmacist, she could be a girl that lives in the hood where I come from. And she thinks that she has to live to cultural expectations. She's a pharmacist that she wants to conquer the corporate world in a different area, and her family doesn't believe in her. Um, Nora is a director or a general manager that maybe is just submerged in the profit and loss, and no one else sees her, and she wants to continue growing. Flashback. Nora. Nora was me 20 years ago. I fell into the cultural expectations and thought that I had to live up to the standards that other people had for me. Yes, my Latina girls, I am talking to you, girl. I sure am. I know what it is. I know what it feels like when you're frowned upon because you miss Juanito's birthday party. I know what it is to be frowned upon because you missed your cousin's wedding, your cousin's baby shower. I know how that feels. But here's the thing, only you know what your expectations, and only you can put labels on you. You don't have to live the norm to fulfill other people's expectations. And you don't have to live the norm because you feel like you have to live up to your cultural expectations. Here's the thing, on paper, you're successful, you're in your mid 30s, you put in a lot of work, but you feel like a high paid firefighter. You're putting out all these wildfires, right? As a matter of fact, you should probably go to California. um, but the thing is that when you're out there trying to be Captain Hero, when you're out there to fighting the battles that really God should be fighting, you are enabling people, and you're falling into the trap of creating expectations that in reality, no one's asked you to. And I know it sounds harsh, right? But I don't want you to live the life of regret. I stopped being Nora, and I stopped trying to please everyone. I stopped being the backbone, and I stopped being a strong woman, and I became a woman of strength. Here's the thing, it was 9 p.m., and I was working diligently on a project. I was just doing the research, I was going back and forth, making it happen and everything, only to do the work for somebody else instead of training them and teaching them how to do it. And what did I do? I just created more work for myself and created a burden in me. Not everyone is going to be grateful for the things that you do for them, and not everyone is going to get promoted for doing the work. So it's important that you focus on yourself before you focus on other people. It's important you take care of your home, you take care of you before you go on to pour onto another cup. Here's an example. If I had an empty cup, what will I be pouring to another cup? Air? Nothing? If those are the answers, you're absolutely right. A cup has to be full and flowing and overflowing in order to pour onto somebody else or anything else in life for that matter, right? I want to get inside your head for a second. You know, sociological research shows that women don't just do more work because we do, right? So we aren't just helping people, we are a human alarm clock. We have intuition like no other, right? That's why we feel like we have to save the world. But the world wasn't meant for us to save. The world was just created so that we can make it better than we found it. And there's a difference between the both, right? You notice the deadline is slipping. You notice the milk is low. You notice that there's a mood swing amongst coworkers or your bosses. Yeah, that's us. Human alarm clocks, right? Then we fall into the cultural script, right? For my Latinas, yeah, this is for you. Research shows that we've conditioned to believe that saying no, okay, makes us a villain. And it really doesn't, girl. It does not make you a villain. Saying no shows that you're deeply rooted and grounded in your beliefs and that you stand for your boundaries. And that's a lot more respectable than someone that's a pushover. I'll tell you that right now. I want to tie this into the Bible because if you know me, you know that I'm out here to expand God's kingdom. And every time that I've fallen, every time that I faced a roadblock, all of those times I've always seeked the Lord. Every single battle, right? So in Galatians 1:10, it says, "For I am for I am now seeking the approval of man or God, or am I trying to please man?" If I was still trying to please society, I would not be serving the Lord. I would not be serving what only I can do and only my purpose can be expanded. I hope that today, if you can take one thing from today, is that you know that you were created for a purpose, with a purpose, on purpose. Therefore, God has given you a purpose, and you just got to dig deep down in your heart and connect with the Lord to see what that purpose is. I know that my purpose is to empower women through the word and his word, right? And I live for that. I'm here for that. I stand for that, right? Here's a part where I have to jump in kind of like, hey sis mode. I am your big sister right now, and tell you the hard truth. To be honest, we can't fix everything. We just can't. And when we try to fix everything, whether it's the team, whether it's family drama, and trying out to be the hero, you end up hurt. You end up hurt. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and watch. Have you ever heard of unsolicited advice? Girl, I was the queen of that. And it got me into so much trouble. So much trouble. Every time I gave my unsolicited advice, I ended up being the bad guy or the bad woman, I should say. And I got to a point in my life that, I stopped trying to fill in the shoes of that other people had to fill in. I stopped trying to fill in the shoes of a father role for some family members. I stopped trying to fill in the shoes and gaps of other people like friends and best friends or my friends' parents, and I really started focusing on just being the best version that I can be and the best friend I can be, the best family member I could be. And sometimes it meant cutting ties with certain people, unfortunately. But I learned that when I cut ties or I put boundaries, other doors were opening up for me. And I started realizing that when God closes certain doors, it is his redirection. And sometimes I sat there and I was just like, oh my gosh, Lord, like, why did this happen to me? And I was questioning him. And don't get me wrong, it is okay to ask him questions, right? But in the end, wholeheartedly, I knew that he was doing something for me in my life. So I started to look at things like, okay, God, what are you redirecting me to? Oh gosh, like I put that boundary and I cut that off in my life, and wow, like my husband showed up, like my future husband. I'm dating the man I want to marry. Uh, something I cut something else, or he redirected me somewhere else, and oh, wow. I just landed to work for a dream company that I currently work for and that I'm so excited to be part of. That's crazy, right? But until we start and we take that veil off and really open our eyes, do we realize that it was the Lord redirecting us? It was the Lord putting us in the right place at the right time. But are you prepared for that? Have you prepared? Have you been doing the work? You know, it's not just luck. Luck doesn't happen. It is when opportunity and preparedness meet each other that things happen. Of course, with the Lord's blessing, you might be sitting right now and saying, like, oh my gosh, I wish I just had this opportunity. I wish I just made more money. Girl, what are you doing to prepare for that? What steps are you taking? Because talking and saying is two different things. And you cannot expect things to just land. Like, if I wish I can just say, Lord, I just need more money right now. Boom, like, oh, here's a bag of money. It just doesn't happen like that. Pray about it, you know, seek the Lord and make sure that it is aligned with what He wants for you. But in reality, prepare for it. What good does it do that you receive your blessing, but you're not ready for it? That's, I think, the worst thing that can happen. And you blame it, it's not the right timing. Yes, I believe that the certain things is not the right timing. But if it's something that you've been praying for, that means you didn't prepare. You did not prepare, girl. And, you know, a lot of times when I was giving that unsolicited advice, I ended up in more drama than I even called for. And then I regret it for helping. I had resentment for helping, but nobody was asking for my help. I just felt obligated. I just felt a cultural expectation that because, I was well off and I was doing good for myself, that it was my job to help everybody else. But it wasn't my job. It wasn't my task. It wasn't for me to take on. I learned that certain battles had to be given to the Lord, right? Ever been frowned upon because you missed something, because you prioritize your career? Have you ever uh, been spoken to or made it seem like you're not part of something, you're not part of the family because you missed an event? It happens, right? You have to be ready for those things. Things don't come easy. And I believe in a world where I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to carry on my purpose. I'm okay to be friendly, but I don't always have to be your friend, right? And I mean it with wholeheartedly. My friends are counted. Like the people I have my church family, I have my CrossFit family, I have my work family, I have my real family, and I can still just count them. I know that my tight circle is filled of certain people only, and that I would be okay with that because not everyone's your friend. Some people come for a reason. Some people come for a season. And I know you've heard of that before, and it sounds so cliche, but are you ready for that? Are you ready to live the different seasons of the people that come and go in your life? And some of us are so stuck in the past that we can't live in the present moment. You're still stuck in something that, so and so abandoned me, so and so left my life. Girl, I had an alcoholic father, and he died at the age of 15 for me. And it's not like he was in the picture. I lived more years without my father now than I lived with him alive. And it's not like I had a relationship with him. I still to this day wonder how that would be. But I know that the Lord gave him a better view because when he was here, he was too drunk to see that. And now he has the front row view. And let me tell you that I fight every single day so that he has a good show. I was raised by a single mother, and my mother came to the United States with elementary education, and she still raised three children on her own very successful children, by the way. And she made it happen. So if you ask me what's my why, that was my fire all along in my life. And I have my husband, incredible, successful, and supports me in every way that he can. And that's my motto. My husband, my mother, my siblings, that I can show them the path, and the women that I empower day in and day out. So I had every excuse in the book, and it gets better. Then I had a stepfather that decided to walk away as well and left us. So I struggled with abandonment issues. I struggled with making choices, and I don't I don't blame anyone. I chose to not be a victim of my life. I chose to ensure that because of my challenges and everything that I went through in life, that I wanted to be an example for all those women out there that hit very challenging moments in your life. I know what it is to go to sleep and wonder, is there someone out there for me? I know what it is to go to sleep and wonder and pray, um, will you ever be successful? I know what it is to pray, um, to ensure and for the God to hover over your hand, and that your results are not cancer. I know what that is. And I don't share these things so that you can feel sorry or so that you can become a subscriber. I share these things because I guarantee you there is a woman out there that is facing the struggle. There's a woman out there that is living in her past and not her best life because she's still stuck in her challenges. It's either people keeping you there, it's either submersing in your own misery. But I'm here to tell you that you're not a victim. Fool me once, shame on them. Fool me twice, shame on you. I'm here to tell you that there's a way out. And it starts with prayer. It starts with the choices that you make on a daily basis. Let me ask you this. What do you do when no one's looking? After you committed to yourself to a challenge, what do you do when no one's looking at you? Are you there and doing what you said you were? Or are you pretending that you are? Or are you actually, just thinking about it, making it anything that you think about and you say you're going to do, but you actually don't do, it's just a wish. So it's like you have your own little wish list of things that you wish you were doing. And, in Exodus 18, it says Moses was trying to judge every single dispute for the Israelites from morning until evening. His father-in-law, Jethro, looked at him and said, "What are you doing? What you are doing is not good, and you and the people with you will certainly wear yourselves out." So many times we're out there judging, including myself. I'm not perfect. And instead, we should have been doing what we said we were supposed to be doing. Keeping that integrity and ensuring that we're leading, because no one else can come and lead you. You have to lead yourself, and it has to be the right way. Um, I let the handle form from respect to adulthood respect, because I think that there is a difference of respect when you're in your teenage years, and then there's a point where in your life where you actually have to become an adult. A kid can say, I didn't have time for that. A kid can say, I can't do it. But an adult that says that they're going to do something but they don't do it is plain out disrespectful. And if you don't respect yourself and if you don't respect your own boundaries, like, how do you expect other people to respect you and other people to respect your boundaries? So whoever you want to become or whoever you're judging, make sure that you are fulfilling those expectations and that you're respecting yourself to those boundaries and holding yourself to that type of integrity, right? So I'm going to talk about my three theos, and it's my boundaries actually. uh, when people come to me and they want me to do something for them, now my response turns into this consultant. And I go from being Gabby to Gabby the consultant. And I say, hey, I trust you can do this. I believe in you. But if you need to be trained, let me know. And I'll train you how to do it. Because if I was to turn around and say, oh, yes, I got it, I'll do it real quick because I can do it in 30, 40 minutes. And no, not right now. I'd rather spend an hour and a half training that person and showing them how to do it to make sure that I actually help them be successful. That I'm not enabling people just to enable them and not make them successful. Right. So it's in Matthew 5:37. Let what you say simply be a yes or a no. Anything else comes from a place of over explaining and fear. Girl, I don't even know who needs to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. Yes or no is a full sentence. Anything else that you explain, it's either for pride, justification, or just to hear yourself talk. Yep, it's the truth. Um, I learned that I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to justify. Yes, I can do that. No, I can't. Or simply yes or no. And there's a lot of questions in that in the world that are yes or no questions, and that helps. Um, and I know it sounds really harsh, and I know I can be so direct. Uh, Let me tell you, if you have a soft heart and uh, you're so sensitive, you're probably not going to like me because I'm very blunt and direct. I don't sugarcoat anything because it leaves a lot of room for confusion in my case. But I believe that my boldness is what makes me me. And there's times that if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, period. You don't have to say or make up like, oh, it's because I wasn't feeling sick or I wasn't feeling well. Oh, it's because, I had to work or, family came over. Like, just tell me yes or no. That's it. Because let me tell you, you make time for what you want to do. When people tell me I can't go to the gym, you can't, you don't have time. Like, how about you say this? I don't want to go to the gym. Hey, you want to go grab lunch? No, I don't want to grab lunch, instead of saying I can't. Or instead of saying, no, I have to do this, or I don't have time. And you'll realize how quick things change. You'll realize how, when you change the wording around it to what it really sounds, because at the end, you got to remember that everything's about perception, not necessarily what you say. Everything is about perception. So, moving on to the partner asset. You cannot lead a high level executive job or executive anything business without a partner. And I'm not saying, hey, for all my single girls that you're out there making it happen, yes, but when it comes time to find your significant other, it has to be a partner. It really does. I stopped managing my home life and I started being a partner in our relationship. And the reason why I say that is because, the buck stops with me at work. So I'm used to calling the shots. I'm used to giving direction. I'm used to just, boom, 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 da, da, da type of thing. I got it. But at home, there was a couple of things that happened through our first year of marriage where I felt like I was managing the home, but then I felt like I had to live to cultural expectations and I had to cook, clean, do laundry when my husband in reality wasn't expecting those things. My husband was ready to be a partner. And when we switch things around and now we have a routine to where, he'll text me like, hey, can you turn on the dishwasher on your way to the gym in the morning? So by the time he wakes up, he can put the dishes away. And we partner up with the laundry. I do a little bit of the cleaning, but he'll help me out. And I realized, like, whoa, I don't have to carry the load. And that has allowed me to put in the work, put in the hours at work, and that opened an opportunity to be on the manager advisory board, and where I now get to collaborate with this company and expand the culture and help people in my same role. In Ecclesiastes 4:9, it says, two are better than one because they have good reward for their toil. So I think that a lot of times we bring our home life to work, but then we also bring our work life to the house. And it is very important to keep those two separated. We can talk about, like, hey, this is how my day went, da da da. And we can talk about at work, like, oh yeah, I went on a cruise, or I'm planning this cruise, or I went to the speedway, etc. And let's get back to work, right? But you can't mix them. You check it at the door at each place, and that will allow you to live a work-life balance without having to exit the corporate world. I was reading an article the other day where more and more executive women in leadership and executive positions are leaving the workforce because of the burden, because they get exhausted. Women tend to do more because we're the nurturers, we are the intuitive people, and we're leaving our corporate careers that we fought for to get a place, um and we're just exiting it and giving it away because we don't know how to live a life work balance. And lastly, the self-care trap that we fall into. Going to the spa, girl, go getting your hair done, your makeup done. That's just to make you feel good. If I want to be realistic with you. And I'm glad you feel good. I'm glad that you're doing things that give you a little boost or a pep to your step or whatever you want to call it. But it's not fixing you. Real work happens with what you do behind closed door. Are you praying? Are you writing down your goals? Are you preparing? What book are you reading right now? Or are you listening to the latest song that's rapping and saying how it's great to have women in bed and drink over them? Yeah, I used to be that one. um, I started to do things that changed me. Where does my resilience come? Have you ever been at the gym or ran a marathon where you couldn't conquer that, but you challenged yourself? So you slowly started either lifting or running 1 mile, 10 pounds, 3 miles, lifting 100 pounds now, uh, all the way to running a half marathon, and you beat your time. You thought you couldn't even run 5 miles at that. And next thing you know, 5 miles is your warm up. Started with deadlifting 90 pounds, and I would walk out of there like, worse than my walking grandma. And I thought that I needed a wheelchair at times, to now I'm deadlifting 270 pounds and I can run a half marathon. Those things are what's built resilience in me. Have you ever been, to where you didn't get where you needed, but you fought so hard, and maybe it was a God's redirection? Yeah, it's all those different things that you do. I wake up with a daily prayer and things that I'm grateful for. And I go to sleep and I fall asleep praying. I don't suffer with the anxiety of I can't sleep or anything, because I submerge myself to the Lord, and I put myself to sleep praying every day. Matthew 11:28-30, it says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Rest isn't something you earn after you fix everything. It's the place you start from. I believe we grew up in a society where it said all you need is 4 hours to sleep and keep going. If you want to be successful, you don't sleep. You'll sleep when you die. Well, yeah, I will sleep and forever eternally rest when I die, but I also don't want to live a life where I feel like I'm walking dead and have no spirit and no energy because I'm burnt out. So, yes, I practice very good habits of going to sleep on time. I wake up every day, 5 in the morning. I'm up, I take my vitamins and I eat a bagel and I go out to the gym because there is time for the things that matter to you. If it doesn't matter to you, if it's not important, it's not in your values and your value system, then you won't make time for it. And a lot of people ask me, what do you mean a value system? Yep. I have a value system 1 through 5. Number one is God, because if I don't have a relationship with the Lord, then I can't have relationship or I can't have a marriage, functioning marriage, or anything that I have in this world. Because everything that I have, I own or I'm part of, and it has my name stamped to it, is because of the Lord's blessings. Number two is my marriage. Yes, it is above everything else. Because if I can't have that cohesiveness in my marriage, then everything else falls apart. After that is my immediate family, and then is my career, and then is my business. In that order. If you don't fall in those top five, any relationships, any ties to it, then it's not important. It doesn't make my schedule. My schedule, everything goes on like every first of the month. Everything that is important to me goes on the schedule first. Everything that is extracurricular, then we start adding all the extracurricular to the calendar. So in closing, I have three major questions for you because I want you to walk away today empowered. I want you to walk away knowing that you have a purpose and you just have to go out there. I want you to walk away knowing that you're heard and that there is someone else out there that has been through a struggle that made it because you chose to lean in the Lord. So the first question is, who is the one person in your life whose backpack you've been carrying for over a year and why? Maybe you're carrying your aunt's expectations. Maybe you're carrying your cousin's expectations. Maybe you're carrying the labels that your boss gave you, the labels in that domestic violence relationship that you had. Maybe you're carrying the labels that you're currently experiencing with your husband. Because it does happen, ladies. A lot of my clients come to me and their husband gives them labels that instead of flourishing them and nurturing them and blooming in the relationship, they could put down. Why are you carrying that? Why is it important? Why haven't you stepped out? The next question is, if you stop fixing things today, what is the worst thing that would actually happen? Is that fear coming from God or your ego? Girl, your ego's not it's not your amigo. Are you helping people because you're prideful? Are you doing things and don't give them up because you're too prideful to say that you no longer want to serve that? Or you are prideful to show that you know it all? Number three, are you the general manager of your life? Or are you just a highly responsive assistant to everyone else's life? What role did you want to have? Do you want to manage your life? Do you want to own your life? Or do you want to live in the expectations and assist everyone else with their goals except yours? Which one? Answer those three questions. I look forward to hearing your responses either in the comments. You can always subscribe to my YouTube channel, More with Gabby, or you can follow me on Instagram, More with the Gabby. It's MOREWGABY. I look forward to hearing those. Remember, hit like, comment back, feedbacks, topics you want me to talk about, girl. We're going to sit here and have real talk. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and you're always going to walk away with something. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and finish in prayer. Lord, we come to here today. We're at your feet, kneeling, praying wholeheartedly, Lord. Please help us. Help us give those labels up. For us to stop carrying backpacks and any cultural expectations that were given to us or that we assumed, Lord, because we didn't know any better. We ask that you wholeheartedly help us be the best version of ourselves and that you empower us to go out there and carry your kingdom, Lord. In the name we pray, amen. Have a blessed day, Queens.